Hello, 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 dear readers, and welcome to another episode of A Chapter a Day with your author, Christine E. Schulze, author of Fantasy for Young Adults. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at my latest little book haul. So first of all, for you guys who've been here with me from the start, thank you so much. I know that videos have been a little bit slow in coming. Still dealing with some health issues that have just made me just not been able to devote the time and energy that I'd like to. Obviously, it's called A Chapter a Day. With my work schedule, that's not really possible, but I'd like to at least get 1 or 2 videos to you guys every week. So still working toward that. But in the meantime, since I don't have a new reading quite yet, I thought that I would just show you guys some of the new books that I got, and we can kind of explore those and take a look at those for a minute. So first of all, I went to Barnes & Noble recently. For those of you who don't know, I work with adults who have autism and other disabilities, and I have this one client I work with who all she has wanted to do is just go to the bookstore. And now that things are more open with COVID and they're able to get out more safely, that is what we did. And so we both had a great time, and I personally picked up a couple of books. I didn't find the book I was looking for, but that's okay. I ordered it from Amazon, as you'll see in just a sec. But what I did pick up is this book called Wilder Girls by Rory Power. And I think what I'm going to do is read you guys the blurbs just to kind of get an idea of what interested me about these books, and maybe will interest you in reading them as well. The blurb for Wilder Girls says, "It started slow. First, the teachers died one by one. Then the tox began to infect the students, turning their bodies strange and foreign. Now, cut off from the rest of the world and left to fend for themselves on their island home, the girls of the Raxter School don't dare wander outside the surrounding fence, to where the tox has made the woods wild and dangerous. But when Byatt goes missing, Hetty will do anything to find her, even if it means breaking quarantine and braving the horrors that lie beyond. And when she does, Hetty learns that there's more to their story, to their life at Raxter, than she could ever have thought was true." So, yeah, this book intrigued me. It's got, to me, a bit of a dystopian vibe. Kind of, this tox. Not sure if it's a kind of illness that kind of turns them more into zombies, if it's going to be something else. You got the quarantine concept, which, hey, that's what we've all been doing for the past year, so probably that vibe kind of intrigued me as well. And yeah, so, like I say, it's got a little bit of that thriller, maybe dystopian vibe to it, but I'm really intrigued to check this one out. And then I also picked up a delightful looking little book called World of Wonders by, well, her first name is Aimee, and now that I'm looking at it, I am not going to try to pronounce her last name because I don't want to disrespectfully majorly mispronounce it. But it's this woman who has just traveled and seen different creatures and things. It has some lovely illustrations in it of creatures like this bird, or let me see if I can find my personal favorite real quick. Let's see, this is, well, I have several favorite animals, but right now my current absolute favorite is the narwhal. So I'm excited to read this for myself, but also to read a selection from you guys as well. And it says on the back that Miss Aimee N, I'm going to call her Aimee N, because her last name starts with N, and that way I don't have to, like I said, try to majorly mess up her last name. Aimee N has called many places home. The grounds of a Kansas mental institution, where her Filipino mother was a doctor, the open skies and tall mountains of Arizona, where she hiked with her Indian father, and the chillier climate of western New York, where she built a family of her own. But no matter where she was transplanted, no matter how awkward the fit or forbidding the landscape, she was able to turn to our world's fierce and funny creatures, the peacock and the axolotl, the narwhal and the red-spotted newt, the lovely and the unlovely alike, for guidance. In World of Wonders, she shares their lessons in gorgeously illustrated essays full of sustenance and joy. For it is this way with wonder. It requires that we are curious enough to look past the distractions in order to fully appreciate the world's gifts. So I'm not sure if these are all things that she's necessarily seen in person or not. Maybe the book will make that more plain, or if these are just creatures that have inspired her. But either way, it just seemed like a really beautiful book, and I love animals, so it seemed like a cool thing to pick up. And then My mini haul from Amazon included the book I was looking for, which is Natasha Preston's newest book, The Lake. If you've seen any of my Natasha Preston videos, you know that she is my guilty pleasure. And so I'm really looking forward to this new thriller, and it's a young adult thriller, and just to see how it goes. I haven't actually even read the back yet myself. I just know if it's Natasha Preston that I'm going to read it. We have a character named Aimee, which is interesting. That makes me think of Harry Potter. You don't really see, or not Harry Potter, oh my goodness, Twilight. You don't see that name a lot, and you definitely don't see it in Harry Potter. But the back of this one says, "Welcome to Camp Pine Lake, where the only thing scarier than a ghost story is the past coming to haunt you." So that's kind of cool. This is like potentially maybe a camp ghost story, which kind of makes me think of the most recent season of American Horror Story where they're all at that camp. But anyway, Aimee and Kayla were once campers at Camp Pine Lake. Now they're back as counselors in training. Aimee loves the little girls in her cabin and thinks it's funny how scared they are of everything. The woods, the bugs, the boys, even swimming in the lake. It reminds her of how she and Kayla used to be before. Because Aimee and Kayla did something terrible when they were campers. Something they've kept a secret all these years. They vow that this summer will be awesome. 2 months of sun, s'mores, and flirting with the cute boy counselors. But then they get a message. The lake never forgets. The secret they've kept buried for so many years is about to resurface. Alright, sounds like a fun time, Natasha Preston. And last but not least, I picked up, I'm trying to remember why, but honestly I think this gorgeous cover was part of it, a book called The Water Princess, Claiming of Earth by Gina. And it's in the Elemental Chronicles Book 1. It looks like a indie author. Let me check real quick. Looks like an indie author, which, you guys know that I'm an indie author, so gotta support the fellow authors, right? So, yeah, Manus Publishing, so she seems to have her own little publishing company. So, yeah, but just gorgeous, gorgeous cover. And let's read a bit about what this one's about. Celine is the forgotten princess of Clearwater Kingdom. Cursed by her sister, her powers are locked inside her, and she is hidden far away on the edges of the Earth Realm. The Holy Lands and nuns with whom she takes refuge ensure her safety from those who would see her cursed form, including ogres who want her blood. In a world where there are two kingdoms, fire and water, a battle rages, and fire is winning. The realms are suffering because of the imbalance of power, and it doesn't help that a fire queen sits on the throne in the water realm. Well, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster all around. All Celine wants is to find her freedom and a way to help her people. She has been a prisoner until one day she finds her answer. She offers herself up to the elemental gods to help earth, wind, and water defeat fire. She will unite the three elements and help make them stronger with each a child she bears. In return, they grant her freedom from the curse. She will unite with the three strong, determined elements who come to see her seated on her rightful throne and help make them stronger with a child she bears for each. Linden, the wind element, is the charmer, with seduction in his breeze. It teases not only her, but him. But Tate, the earth element, is the one who catches her eyes. She knows him, and had at one time promised to marry him. For Tate and Celine, it is so easy for them to pick up right where they had left off, falling in love and experiencing passion for the first time. The journey begins as soon as she steps foot outside the convent gates. A roar goes off, and every ogre knows she is for the taking. The one she fears the most is Brown, the largest, most persistent, and smartest of them all. He has always been there close by, watching and waiting. The danger is all around, and the beasts are coming for her. On the run, she finds herself connecting and drawing closer with her men. It's not just the ogres that become the threat. Fire elements are on the rise, and other dangers are lurking in the forest. Will the elements get Celine across the Earth Realm alive? And if so, will they all be together when they do? If I don't recall incorrectly, I believe that this is one of those fantasy reverse harem romances. It sounds like she might have more than one lover. So, which I've never read one like that before, but that could be up my alley. So those are my newest books to show off to you guys. I am hoping to do some videos very soon where I read, introduce you to these books by reading the first chapter from them. But until then, on that note, happy reading. And wow, I once again forgot to tell you guys to strap on your elf ears, but you don't need to strap on your elf ears just to listen to me. You can go strap on your elf ears right now and go have your own reading adventure. And I will see you, lovely, lovely readers, in my next video.